Cisco 49 is deep in the heart. Like Joe Montana in the corner, D. Clark. Garrison Hurst, stiff farm going 99. Don't get it twisted, one and all with prime time. John Taylor,
It's the 49er Faithful UK show. Week 8 delivers a third straight loss as the Niners fall 31-17 at home to the Bengals. It's undeniably disappointing and a bit frustrating. But we head into the bye week still well in contention in a competitive NFC. There is a little bit of a sense of deja vu, as last year we stuttered into the bye week after a bad loss to the Chiefs. But we turned it around and went the rest of the season unbeaten, and there's no reason we can't do the same this year. I'm Gareth Ellis, and joining me for a much-needed therapy session, it's our totally unqualified therapists. Lee Gowland.
Hey guys.
Paul Hope.
Hey Faithful, what's up?
And Najib Karar.
Hello everyone.
So lads, let's keep it simple this week. I think there's 3 things we probably all want to cover. What's going wrong? How do we fix it? And do we need a trade to get the roster to where it needs to be? So let's start and break it down. Let's start with the offense, which only mustered 17 points for the third straight game. I didn't watch the game live. I watched the game back in 40, and I saw a lot of good, but not a lot of points. Who wants to start? Lee, you're looking very thoughtful.
Do you think? Where can we start? I mean, we never established the run game, and when you don't do that, it's always going to be difficult. We just said off air there, we were talking about my player watch, Colt McKivitz. I thought he had a good game, and I went on to say that I didn't think we particularly missed Trent Williams that much, or wasn't that noticeable. But then I did turn around and say, well, obviously it was noticeable because we couldn't establish the run game, and that's where we were missing them. As far as pass protection was concerned, I don't think we missed him that much, but definitely within the run game, he was a huge miss. And it was those types of things on offense which kind of scuppered us all together. One of the things that I'm really concerned about, when we missing Debo, it doesn't seem as though Kyle can actually scheme for the players that he has available. He gives up on he gave up on the run straight away. He gave up on play action as well, pretty much straight away. We didn't do much of that, and it all became one-dimensional, which was very easy to stop. It didn't look very good. It didn't help that we were getting penalties left, right, and centre, and obviously turning the ball over. I mean, we hardly is going to win anything when we do that. But I can't quite put my finger on what's wrong. I have absolutely no, and I think that's both sides of the balls. Obviously, we'll talk about defense later, but I just don't know. I am at a loss to try and work out why Kyle can call a play so brilliantly against, say, the Dallas Cowboys, and then fail against the Browns, the Vikings, and the Bengals. Because he just seems to have stuttered the last 3 weeks. And one thing I did notice on the sidelines as well, and it kind of annoyed us a little bit from a leadership perspective, he's walking up and down the sidelines, shaking his head whenever there's a bad play from a 49ers player. Yeah, you're not going to like that, but you need to be motivating players.
Totally.
And it kind of got us that people didn't feel as though, they didn't look as though they were motivated. And I'm wondering if that's it. You know how we always said that Jim Harbaugh had a shelf life of 4 years.
Yeah.
We now 6-7 seasons into Harbaugh. Have we suddenly hit that shelf life?
No, I don't think so.
No. So I agree, but it is a question to start asking, because for the last 3 weeks we have looked a little bit listless.
I think that's the main issue. It doesn't look like we're having fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we used to. And I mean, the fun comes from stomping on teams. Obviously, you know, you beat the Cowboys 42, whatever. It's easy to have fun, but especially, and we'll talk about it later, on defense, it doesn't look like we're having fun at all.
Is it the Browns game? Was it the Browns game? Has that knocked the stuffing out of us so much? It's
I don't know.
Been a gut check moment.
I think we're just falling a little short on things that usually work, and obviously we're missing Debo a lot. We're missing Trent, and you know, we're turning the ball over, which is always it's hard to have fun when you turn the ball over. You're
There
not going to
was some
celebrate
bad
that.
drops.
Some bad drops, some bad throws, some bad fumbles, in all three of those losses. And it just kind of starts to mount and pressure starts to mount. And then you feel like, especially because where we are in the NFL, because you feel the pressure of being that number one power ranking and the team everybody talks about, and you have to win by this many points and you have to be perfect. Like Purdy has been, all of a sudden you feel like you're a little jammed and you're trying a little too hard. And I think that's what it is. It seems like we're trying too hard. Nothing is easy anymore. And it used to be. It used to just come out and everything worked and everything was fine. And luck was on our side a little bit and everything was just simple. But that's football. You have to find a way to win when it's hard. And it's not been hard for us for a long time. So it's going to take us a minute to figure that out. And I think that's where we are. We're in the trenches, we're working hard, we're battling, and we're just not coming on the right side. The last game, I think the Bengals, we did get beat by a much better team than we are. But the two before that, which started generating that downward spiral, it's a few plays here and there, and we're 7-1 instead of 5-3.
I'm assuming you mean beaten by the better team on the night.
Yeah. On the night. The Bengals were much better
because
than us on
obviously,
Sunday.
There's no better team than the 49ers. Let's just put that out
obviously, but they came in and Joe Burrow threw for 80% of his passes and all that. They were better than us. They didn't make any mistake and they scored touchdown when they needed to. We didn't do it. It's sports. It happens. But as Fred said, we're not going to back down. We're going to find a way, and this would make for a great story when we get our ring. That's what sports about. If it was easy, it wouldn't be fun. So yeah. Ultimately, I think to me, this game comes down to the mistakes. The 3 turnovers, especially the first pick is an insane play by Pratt. Was it Pratt? Some 56. That's ridiculous. I don't know how he did that, but you play that play 100 times, and the the linebacker puts his hand up, and the ball just falls to the ground. And then that's it, and we get a shot, at least a field goal. So that was insane. And then, the throw, you just got schooled by by a linebacker again. A rookie mistake right there. He thought he had it open and he didn't. The fumble was bad. Again, protect the ball, leave another down. But he's going to learn. And he needs to learn faster. But I think that's where it starts to me on Sunday. If we don't do those 3, the game is definitely a lot tighter. And at home, maybe you can hope to win it. But 3 turnovers, that's too much to overcome for any team.
So one thing I will say about the offense, I definitely do not think it was on Brock Purdy.
No, God,
Purdy,
he played really well.
He did. He had some rookie mistakes, but overall he played well. And I definitely don't think it's on Purdy. And the reason I'm saying that is because you just go on social media and everybody's having an absolute meltdown.
Yeah.
People are calling for Purdy to be replaced already, asking us to trade for somebody, a QB, and I think that's ridiculous. Purdy is not the problem.
No.
Oh, what's your take on the offense?
Well, I'm smiling because we get our therapy session. And I stayed off social media today, Lee. I put a few tweets out there thanking the casino, which we'll get to later. But you look at Brock's stats, they're very Brock-esque, apart from the interceptions, the eye test, which we all talk about on this show. I said it off air, Gareth. Some of those plays Brock Purdy made off script got everybody off the seat. If you're prepared to accept that, you have to accept the growing pains. He is a rookie and all but name. But we talk about fundamentals on this show, mistake-free football. And our boy George said it better than me. So I may have stayed off social media, Gareth, but I've absorbed the interviews afterwards because I wanted to say how the team were feeling. We'll talk about Fred in a moment, Nadji, because shock horror, 54 stood up on the podium and owned it. But George Kittle, he answered the question better than we can. We're not running the football, which is the fundamental 49ers. He said, when you're committing penalties like we're committing, and you're on 1st and 20, 3rd and whatever, you can't run the ball. You then have to pass the ball more, which is reflected in the stats, which then means you become one-dimensional, which we saw yesterday when we're one-dimensional and we're chasing the game. Mistakes are going to happen, and I think like we said last night, Lee, when we were sat together at the casino watching it, the sky wasn't falling in. Ever the optimist, but we're going into this bye week 5-3. That's better than 2019 when we went to the Super Bowl. This time last year, Christian McCaffrey had just been traded and was like, he said he came in that locker room 3-4 and not one person was panicking. And if we put together a run like we did last year and we're capable of it, like you said, don't panic. So the game could have gone either way for me at certain points, but Nadja, you did hit the nail on the head. Joe Burrow, not only was he great with his passing, he was great with his scrambling. And ironically, Brock actually threw for more yards, but obviously Burrow had no interceptions, had more touchdowns, was efficient. But Joe Burrow had been paid. He's up there in the conversation for your top 5 QBs in the NFL. And like you said, Lee, the non-Niners friends have come at me today with the whole Trey Lance trade's come to bite you on the bum. It's knocked you up for the next however many years. And I'm sat there shaking my head like, have you just watched the 5-minute highlight video? Or have you actually sat and watched that game? Because this isn't on Brock Purdy. So I would like to say, before we move on, a measured response in the group has been refreshing to see. So I know a few members today have dropped some posts, and the conversations I've been keeping an eye on whilst working was good to see. We're all frustrated. Yes, we wanted to be heading into the bye week 7-0. It's not to be 8-0, whatever. But I'm not nervous. And I will just clarify for everybody, I have no more weddings to go to. So you can't blame that on me anymore. And the next home game, Gareth, us 4 fine gentlemen with 1 or 2 others will be in attendance. So you definitely don't need to panic.
No, I watched the game live on Red Zone. They did tend to focus quite a bit on what was happening on Kansas City at Denver. And I think there were some parallels there. They were in a hole. They tried to throw their way out of it, and Mahomes couldn't do it. He threw interceptions as well because they became one-dimensional. I think the in that game, obviously, the Broncos played well. But watching the game back in 40, I saw just so much good stuff. Kittle had a big game. Brock Purdy was doing great passes. Romo's commentary is great. He's always picking out just how good some of the quarterback play is. I think obviously the first interception was a killer because we'd just done an 80-yard drive, get down to the red zone, and it's another red zone turnover. Same way McCaffrey fumbled the ball early on. Was it the Vikings or the Browns game? And we lost. We seem to be letting games get away from us by losing momentum because we can string together a great drive, but then can't follow it up with another drive. And in between, we can't follow it up with a defensive stop and suddenly score on consecutive possessions and wrestle the game back from our opponents. And it's just little miscues here and there, I think, because I didn't think the offense played badly, and I could hardly believe how we only got 17 points at the end of it, because we moved the ball relatively well at quite a lot of times in the game. And I think Lee's got something there. We've seen this before. Sometimes we say Shanahan needs to get out of his own way a little bit and perhaps plan a better game. I am disappointed that suddenly, without Debo, he's not trying to bring anybody else in the game. It's Kittle and McCaffrey and Ayuk, and that's it. And it becomes predictable and becomes easy to defend because the Bengals knew they're going to throw deep over the middle from Purdy to one of these 2 or 3 guys because the others are just being ignored. I think Jennings played almost every snap and didn't get a target, let alone Ronnie Bell or bringing somebody else, like even dump it down to Elijah Mitchell over the middle. There doesn't seem to be variation in the game plan. It's put it all on Brock to throw us to victory over the middle. And he's doing that, I think, very well for much of the game. But you've got to add something more to it. At least that's what I see with the offense.
Nadji's winding up to school me. I'm going to jump in before I say something. But what the Bengals defense did well is Kyle likes to put people in motion. And how many times did Juice go in motion? And the defense knew the ball wasn't going to him. That front 5 and the linebackers. And what was shocking, and Lee said it earlier, Shanahan didn't go into his bag of tricks. Like you said, Gareth, try something with Ronnie Bell, try something with Ray McLeod. It was just strange because we've given him this new contract. We've gone about being an offensive genius, but the Bengals defensive coordinator seemed to have all the answers last night. And I was kind of feeling quite smug give him my scouting report, Nadji, when you missed the last show, because some of the things I called for happened. But then as a 49ers fan, I was like, I wanted to see more. So sorry, that's all I wanted to say. Buddy.
No, it's a good point. That's where I was going to go to. This offensive genius thing doesn't seem to be there anymore. It's just what we do. There's no extra. And, we've been calling it. Just stop using CMC, try something else. And we all love CMC, and we want to see him. Just leave him in a game. That's totally fine. But put Jordan Mason, and as you said, dump it to him. No one's going to expect that. And you might get yourself out of a 3rd and 8 or something. He has this tendency to not trust certain people, or he trusts too much other people. There's too much trust in Brandon Ayuk, and he's repaying it tenfold. And so is Kittle, and so in CMC. But you cannot go on the Super Bowl run and win it all with 2 guys. No team in the world has ever done this. You always need that extra, the people that no one knows, the people that are on the bench that come out and have a great game. And this would have been perfect to have a Ronnie Bell game, or a Danny Gray game, or Mason, or a Mitchell, or anyone else, or Ray McLeod 70-yard touchdown. That just changes the momentum of the game, electrifies the whole team. It brings the team together because all of a sudden everybody is part of it, not just 2 guys. And I don't understand why we're not even just trying. And, we're 17 points down and 10 points behind, and we're on 3rd and 8, and it's still a draw to CMC to try and get us a better punt position. I don't really understand the thought process here, and we've said it, and Kyle goes through that pretty much every year. He goes into a funk and then gets himself out of it. But we need to have it, and it's much better to have it now, just before the bye week, than in September and January when the games really matter, So, I'm not panicking, We've still got, the roster is there, and we're going to talk about it, see if we can do anything to make it better. But it's the same offense that won 16 games in a row. It's there. We just need to put it back together, see how it worked, and maybe change a little things, and we'll be right back to where we were. We'll be all right.
Do you not feel that when you look back, it has the feel of the 2021 Cardinals game or the Chiefs game last year, and people were panicking? And like you said, maybe Shanahan wants that us against the world mentality, and maybe it's going to come after the bye week. I just wanted to say, Lee, before we go down the rabbit hole of Brock Purdy, I saw something on Twitter just before we went and recorded because I thought there was some trade news. Not every game, 49ers fans, has to be a referendum on Brock Purdy. We're allowed to talk about it, but it doesn't have to be. Ashka put a great tweet out there, and I thought, you know what? We are guilty of it. 49ers fans, QB carousel. But Brock played well. I mean, we were sat next to each other last night, me and Lee, when that one hit Ayuk in the face. Like you said, Nadji, he catches that one. Like, how many times has Ayuk caught the ball this year? It just hit him in the face. And without his scrambling ability, Brock Purdy, we wouldn't have been in this game. But I just wanted to kind of put out there, we are allowed to have a conversation with him, but you don't have to rank him in the top 10 QBs. And that's maybe aimed at my non-Niners friends who the group chat I've had to mute it today because they're an absolute wonderland that were 0-3 over the last 3 weeks. And Brock Purdy's done. And Grant Cohen, I don't know if you saw that, friend of the show. Brock's Cinderella story is over. And he's one of the advocates calling for Brock to be gone and Sam Darnold being still. And I was like, he's definitely just doing that for clickbait.
Totally.
Yes. I just wanted to put that out there because I know Lee's a big fan of Mr. Kent.
Ian,
that's right.
I think we can get back to that. We'll look at some positives later, but we've got to talk about the defense as well. Shipping 31 points. Once again, quarterback has a fantastic game against us. Seems to be a common denominator. Wilks is getting a lot of flack, but it also appears to be that there is a dip in form, dip in concentration from a handful of key players who I think are guilty of missing some tackles and missing some assignments as well. What are you seeing? Nadji, you're nodding sagely, so I'm going to go to you first.
Yeah, it's more of the same but worse because Joe Burrow is otherworldly and elite, so it showed even more on Sunday. But yeah, our defense is just not playing well, not clicking at all. There's no pressure, there's no coverage, and we hear Sad saying, during reviews and previews saying, if one is good, the other one will be good. Well, neither is good at the moment, and it's really bad. We can't get to him, and even when we get to him, he manages to escape anyway. So, really hard. I mean, when you see Arik Armstead showing up on the stat sheet, something is not quite right, because it doesn't happen very often. And Big Arik gets 2 sacks. I'm very happy for him. And but yeah, something's not quite right, and it's really hard to pinpoint whether it's solely Wilks' fault. I don't think it is. But I hope, and it's not that, but I have a sinking feeling that people are not buying what he's doing, and it's showing on the field. And the same thing goes for the defense, even more for the defense than the offense. They're not having fun. They're not celebrating nowhere near as much as they used to. The 2 Arik sack, he does his celebration and then just trots to the sideline. There's no gathering, there's no grouping, nobody rallies to him and celebrate all together. Fred isn't flexing anymore when he makes a tackle. Greenlaw is the same, makes a tackle and just stands up and goes and lines up again. There's something missing, and I don't know where it's from, and definitely the poor performance is enhancing the whole feeling of not having fun. But yeah, I think there's definitely not something right here. I would tend to think it might be Wilks' scheme and people not buying into it, and there's been a clash here. And obviously, if you're playing out of position, something you don't really want to do, you're not going to be 100%. You're not going to be full on invested in, and it shows. You missed that goal. You're out of position, and I think the 2 names I think that really stand out the most in this whole thing is Mooney Ward and Huff. They have disappeared from our defense, from all pros, pro bowlers, to who are these 2 guys? I don't recognize any of them. And Ward shows flashes every now and then, but then the very next play, it's a PI. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but it's extremely frustrating because we just want that one stop, that one turnover, and they do it in the first half. They do it, and we get back. It's 14-10, Maybe there's life, and then we get back into the game. All we need to do is stop them, and they go on a long drive, 13 plays, 8 minutes, and the Jamar Chase touchdown at the end with absolutely no life whatsoever in that drive. No, nothing. First down after first down, easy peasy. That's to me, that's the worrying bit. Something's gonna have to give here, whether it's Wilks, whether it's the players sucking it up and doing what he wants. Because if it works, who cares if they're happy or not? But yeah, I don't know. Disheartening for sure.
Who's going to leap in next?
Yeah, let me leap in there. Sorry, Paul.
Go on.
Let me leap in. I think Wilks is definitely the easiest part to change on that defense.
Yeah.
That defense is arguably a better defense personnel-wise than what we had last season. Yeah.
I don't know.
I think
sure.
with Wilks, I think the scheme that he's used to playing is not the player set, the skill set that we have. We don't have shutdown corners. We haven't been blitzing the amount of times that he blitzes. And I think because of the scheme that he's used to playing, and to be honest, I mean, he looks one-dimensional. I said the offense was, but it looks as though Wilks is one-dimensional as well. And I just don't think he has the players that he needs to run the defense the way he wants it to be run. And because of that, I think Wilks should be out the door, and we should be looking for somebody who runs the defense the same way as what we've been running the defense for the last 3 or 4 seasons. Wow. I think that's the easiest change to make, and now's the time to do it while we've got a bye week.
That is bold.
I mean, I'm not
it's
sure.
Not a prediction. It's not a prediction.
No. I know it's not a prediction. It's still very bold statement.
Yeah.
I don't think firing our DC mid-season when we're 5-3 is a good idea at all. I think finding the way to make it work is the way forward. They've got 2 weeks to do it. Yeah.
Well, surely that should have been up to Wilks to do that in the last 3 weeks, and he hasn't found a way, has he?
Yeah, I wonder if he's been given too much leeway, and I wonder if John Lynch is going to step in. I wonder if Kyle's going to step in and be like, "This is not what we hired you to do. You're going to have to do this." I don't know. Again, is it Wilks? Is it the player? I don't
Well,
know.
the players seem to be not content. But Bosa's already come out and talked about the
Yeah.
play calling. And as soon as you see that happen, you know he's lost the defensive locker room.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's clearly something there. There's discontent. Something is not right, and what the problem is how we fix it, right? No, yeah, I'm not sure. Changing DC right now, that's a bold message to change to send now.
It is. It's a bold message to change any coordinator this early or midway through the season, we'll say. But he is president of that working. And I don't want to rip open this awful wound, but the Ravens did it in 2012. They got rid of the offensive coordinator halfway through the season, then went on to win the Super Bowl against us.
True, that's very true. I also being the devil's advocate. You know, Demeco took a lot of flack when he came in. It wasn't perfect. And it wasn't pretty. Saleh took a good year and a bit to get going.
Yeah,
you know, and the talent wasn't quite the same, so the timeline would make sense. I would be prone to give him time and for everybody to find a middle ground where everybody's happy and everything works. And I think they can do it. And also they're professionals. They have to. That's their job to
So
figure
I think
it
the
out.
difference with the people like you've mentioned, with Salah, with Ryans, it is, let's go back to what you always say, the eye test. The last 3 weeks has been dreadful.
Yeah,
Absolutely dreadful. So it's not just a case of we've been a little bit unlucky, we're not quite clicking. It has been absolutely dreadful the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, but defense is it's not like an offense. All you need is a good player here and there, and the game changes. You know, if we stop them on our last drive and we can get the ball back with a chance to tie, and we do tie the game, then the defense is great. You know.
So again, having said that, you're saying we just need a good player here or there on the defense. We've got a lot of good players on defense, and it's still not working. That's the thing.
I don't think the plays have happened quite at the right time, though. You know, that sack on third down, 3rd and 8 on the first drive. If we make that play rather than let them go and let them score onto that drive, we're not that far away. You know, I don't think we're that far away. And again, I will say this: we just played Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Those guys are next level good. They could have just been one of those games where, even if we'd been good, they would have destroyed us. So it's hard really to really pinpoint. And Cousins was on fire, by the way, too. You know, we played 2 very quarterbacks back to back, playing extremely high level.
So read between the lines, Najee. What I'm hearing is you're saying we just set up that game last night to be the revenge game in the Super Bowl when we beat the Bengals to take number 6.
Exactly.
That's what you really meant, wasn't it?
That's exactly what I meant.
Yeah, that's exactly what he meant.
Lure them in a false sense of comfort, and then smack them around the face in the
I'm
Super
going to
Bowl.
say both
There you
of
go.
yous.
Breaking news. Breaking
Oh.
news. The Bengals 49ers in the Super Bowl. That's the breaking news.
All I was going to say, Gareth, is which I thought Leon and you might have got to. As much as I agree there's issues with Wilks, it's not all Wilks' fault. He's the easy scapegoat at the moment. It's got to be on the players. How many missed tackles are we talking about? Again, fundamentals, the penalties. Nick Bosa, I'm hoping Kyle Shanahan is going to take him aside like he did last year. The rumours were apparently Kyle kept jibbing him. Oh, you're not Defensive Player of the Year. You're not good enough. John Chapman did a breakdown this morning and he said it's worrying that Nick Bosa's not been double teamed. Now, if that's not a slap in the face to Nick Bosa, I think he's ranked 58th in the NFL at the moment. He's being paid his money. We're expecting to see non-quarterback money style play from Nick Bosa. And you're right, Najee, the celebration thing is something I wanted to touch upon because when Armstead made that sack, we leapt to our feet at the mini watch party. And then you look on the screen and it's just, the team have just gone the line back up. And there wasn't any of that fun element. And like you said, people play contact football, especially on defence. You want to hit people. You want to celebrate hitting people. But the one play that Wilks did last night, which worried me, was when he put Greenlaw one-on-one with Jamar Chase. I love Greenlaw, but Greenlaw's not your cover linebacker. That should have been Fred Warner. And like you said, Najee, I think some people need to kind of just appreciate how good Jamar Chase is and how good Joe Burrow is. So that thing I'm not too upset about. But what about you, Gareth? Are you on the page that it's all Steve Wilks' fault? And like El Presidente said, get rid of him and get someone else in? Or is it a bit on the players as well?
I think there's on the players as well. You pointed out some missed tackles. I think Huff missed at least 3 that I noticed, including ones where he's got no reason. It's not like it's a full extent trying to bring somebody down. They're dead cert tackles, and he whiffed on them. I saw Mooney Ward whiff on a couple, particularly one when Joe Burrow scampered up the middle, and Ward just let him walk past him. I don't know whether he thought Burrow was about to slide and thought, I'm not going to get the illegal hit penalty here, and just let him go. I thought Isaiah Oliver, very strange. He made a couple of great plays and then got completely lost on his assignments several times. I think partly it seems to me the scheme, but it also seems to be in that secondary we're confused about what the offense is going to do. I mean, partly that's down to the Bengals, obviously, but that seems to me that's the game planning during the week, that we're lining up one way and then something completely different is happening. And none of the players are quite sure where they should be and who they should be covering. They're getting confused on their assignments a little bit too easily. And I think that's where the frustration is coming through of why haven't we been prepared for this? We're expecting this offensive alignment to be this kind of thing, and we're seeing something completely different, and we're getting embarrassed out here. And I think that's where you go to the coaching and the preparation and chewing the tape in the week about what can you expect to see from our opponents this week and being prepared for the sort of things they're going to do. And I just don't think we were. We seem to be confused a lot of the time. And Burrow was making a lot of shortish, easy passes over the middle to people who are wide open because they've schemed it. They've sent the receivers somewhere else, and our secondary has peeled off in loads of different directions and left gaping holes in the middle. And that seemed to be a bit of a rerun of both the Browns and the Vikings. And I think that's where the problem, it's not so much the scheme, it seems to be the game preparation for me, that the players are not being put in a position where they can make plays. And that's why some of these players are absent. And I think that's where the frustration comes in. And the frustration means a lack of concentration. And that means a missed tackle. And it means a missed assignment. And it means you turn your shoulder the wrong way and you've been burnt completely because you're not quite in tune. And I think that seems to be what the problem is with the defense. We're just not playing together as a team. And we're seemingly offenses are finding ways to scheme and pull us all over the field and do whatever they want with us. And I think the defenses in the past, where we've been really good, we've been dictating what we allow offenses to do. And we've seen it. We let them get a few yards here and there. We let them move the ball in the middle of the field and then shut them down. And we just don't seem to be able to do that. So there is definitely something off with the defense. I think the defense, as you said, Fred has come out and said they've got to be playing better. And I do think one of the big issues has been the defense, that we haven't been able to get any momentum back. We put together a long drive, a good drive, a scoring drive. We get back into it, into a score, and then the defense will let them score again. And we just can't get that momentum of a scoring drive and then a stop, a 3 and out, 4 and out, 5 and out, whatever it is, a short drive, and get our offense back on the field where our offense can start controlling the clock and isn't so desperate to throw ourselves to victory, because that's what we've been left with when we're chasing the game late. But I don't know how to fix it, because that is the real big question, lads. I think Lee's had his idea there about how we fix the defense. I can't see it happening.
No, let me just clarify. I said this would be a great time to do to change the defensive coordinator. I didn't say I was up for changing the defensive coordinator.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's not the soundbite that's going to get clipped and shared on Twitter.
Nope. Yeah, the highlight to this will be
clickbait.
Yeah,
Mr. Kent will be giving you a call. Hello, El Presidente. We'll do a show together.
Oh God. Yeah. I mean, just it's get back to work. We know it's there. It is fixable. I think that is the best thing we can take out of this is that we have the pieces, we have the talent on the team, and it's just a matter of putting our heads together and maybe even just, winning one game like scrappily, the next one, maybe.
Yeah.
To click in the hand and be like, oh, this is what it does work if we do this way and do this way. And we need to not be the way we've been the past 3-4 weeks. It's hard to say because it's sports and it's difficult to pinpoint sometimes, but you just got to go out there. You just got to play what you know, do what you know how to do it. We've been doing it, and we just need to get back to it. And I have all the faith in the world and the coaching staff that they're going to figure it out. And I just think it's just a matter of doing, not necessarily thinking about it too much. It's all there. Just need to do it.
Easy. Thanks, Najee.
Yeah.
He's a stat fair. So he's a stat fair. Isaiah Oliver has allowed 100% completion rate when targeted in 4 consecutive games.
Yeah. I'm gonna. And this is in the next segment is what I'm gonna say. We need definitely the new Nico. He can't cover, as exactly like Jimmy Ward. Can't cover. Great at tackling.
Yeah, we need Sammy Womack to come back, play on the outside, and switch Diamador inside.
And Diamador in the slot.
Yeah,
that would be great.
Plus, we need to do a bit more, like you were saying, Gareth, the line of scrimmage, the secondary's too far off, and when the pass rush isn't getting home, and Burrow was just able to get that ball out. And like you said there, Oliver looked good when he was making the tackles, and he made some big plays. It was good to see. It was weird seeing 26 make a good play and Lee Gowland not celebrate, and then the second click, oh yeah, Womack's not 26 anymore, he's 0. But that was what was scary last night. As much as Burrows was good, he was completing those passes because there was no one covering them. And I know Jamar Chase, it's going to take someone elite to cover him. But Higgins was made to look unbelievable at times last night. Not saying he's a bad receiver, but he's not on the same page as... They're a good one too, but I think Burrow finished with the second lowest average intended air yards on Saturday, Gareth. Sorry, I had to get that right before I was wrong. And that was on NFL Next Gen Stats. So it wasn't as if Burrow was airing it out. He was just efficient, and because the secondary sat off. And we don't make the adjustments. Salah and Ryans used to get a lot of grief because they never made the adjustments. But what Ryans in particular was really good at, especially at half-time, was making those adjustments. And we're not seeing that at the moment, which is a bit of a worry.
Yeah.
Barlow always had someone open. Someone short over the middle. Mixon got a few. Tight ends got a few catches because there was always someone there. When the pressure's there and we've got covered deep, there's somebody short over the middle, and he was able to drop it off to them time and time again, and you just keep the chains moving because that's an easy 6, 7, 8 yards. And then we swarm in and make the tackle, but it's another first down, and they get to start again. Maybe that is the gap in the slot where we're missing Jimmy Ward. Wouldn't you agree, Maggie?
Maybe. No. I mean, as much as I didn't like him, he's better than Oliver, and we would be better with him. And I can't deny that he's definitely better than Oliver. But Oliver can do tackle for losses really well. Apparently, that's the only thing he does really well.
You do realise, Najee, Lee's writing down now the episode of this show is going to be called Najee Says Bring Back Jimmy Ward. 38
I want to make it clear.
Bookmark it.
I would rather us getting rid of still Wilks than us. No, I'm joking. I'll have him back if he wants to get paid $1 million and not throw his dummy out of the prime every time we ask him to play corner.
It's all set up for Womack to be the season saviour, isn't it?
Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect.
Too right, it is.
And
Super Bowl MVP.
Sometimes
MVP,
it's the way the defense fits together, and you get that missing piece that ties it all together.
Yeah.
And suddenly, everybody else's deficiencies disappear, and the scheme works and the system works. But we need to analyse that and work out what it is that we do. It's difficult, perhaps, to put it all on Oliver, but that stat I think you've just come out with, Lee, says something pretty clear in black and white. And maybe we just need to change something up. Maybe it is mix up the personnel. see if we can put someone else on the perimeter, put Demo in on the slot, or maybe try and move up even Gibson there, see Jair Brown at the back end. Something should change, I think, because whatever it is at the moment, it's clearly not working, and it's not worked 3 times because I think offensive coordinators have worked out what our defense does, and we're sticking with what it does all game, and it's not working. Any other fixes? What about offensive fixes? Come back, Trent.
No, I think we're good. I mean, yeah, I think Trent and Debo back will help. And I think we said it. I think Kyle needs to stop being so stuck on doing things, trusting the good players so much, and just be open to the idea of trusting Danny Gray or Ray McLeod or anyone.
I think
so random thought. So come on, Paul.
All I was going to say, Gareth, and Nadji might correct me if I've got this wrong, but getting Debo back will allow Kyle to go more to a 12 personnel because he can use 2 tight ends to run block. And Debo being there, we said it last week when you were missing Nadji, he just adds that extra dimension to the offense that they have to account for. And when he's not there, it's just something that I'm looking forward to.
But
and
even, Juice hasn't caught a pass this year. Where are those long pass to Juice and Dwelly and all those that we used to have in a playbook on there? Just put them in. Those guys have shown you in the past that they can deliver if you trust them, and you just don't. So it's
that's what I'm saying
weird.
At the moment with Juice. Motioning him's no good.
Yeah, nothing happens.
You know he's not getting the ball, so what's the point in motioning him? And like you said, Gareth Jennings didn't get a reception.
Yeah, that's insane.
Sunday night. And Jordan Mason, I'd love to know whose playbook he's nicked or whose cup of coffee he's knocked over. Because why is he not getting any field time at the moment?
He's on special team.
Mitchell was like, remember when we had Coleman a couple of years ago and Shanahan just kept trying to give Coleman runs and he wasn't getting anywhere? That was Mitchell last night. He just, I just don't know what Jordan Mason can do, to be fair.
No, I think we need to see more Jordan Mason. I think Ronnie Bell, he came in, he had one great touchdown catch, and then we don't see him again. Remember last season, Ray McLeod, I think, took a reverse 78, 80-odd yards?
Yeah.
Mix it up.
70 yards.
Because the one thing we've got is, when we've got Bell and McLeod, no one knows quite what we're going to do with them. So why not put them in and keep them guessing? I don't know.
Well, look at that one. Ray had Gareth in garbage time. Ray McLeod got a 41-yard reception. Other than that, I think there was Ayuk had 1 reception for 2 yards at one point, and it was like garbage time. But why air it out in garbage time? Why not let him?
I mean, they were playing so soft.
They were, to be fair. Giving us false hope, Nadji. I think Lee was trying to work out the connotations of the scores at this point and whether the score prediction results were going to.
I wonder if all those plays are not happening, to Juice and Dwelly and Ray and all those other people. Maybe because Brock is just not quite there yet as reading, 4, 5, 6 kind of thing. He's reading CMC, Ayuk, Kittle, and usually he's good enough to give it to one of those guys anyway, even if they're pretty much covered, because his ball placement and accuracy is that good. He hasn't had to go to the 4th and 5 and 5th, so in 6. So maybe it's that. Maybe Brock needs to kind of trust them too and learn that they're part of the game. And I think there was a play where he dumped it to Kittle, and I saw Ayuk flash open from the end zone. It's just like he moved away too soon from him, or something like. It could be also that Brock is learning. It's still only 13 games in his career. A lot to learn every game. So.
But he did. He trusted those players last year. Jennings was Mr. Third Down. Remember, Brock was spraying it around. I think was it his second game against the Seahawks? He had something like 7 completions to 5 different players in his first 7 throws. He was spraying the ball around because Shanahan was dialing those up.
That's true.
You can't blame him for giving it to 23, though. I love that.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying. I'm just trying to figure out a way of why those plays are not happening. Maybe they are being called and Brock isn't just. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. Just in bye-week mode, trying to figure out how to win a game. We need to win games.
So, by way of fixes, the trade deadline is upon us. Do you think there is a fix there?
Yeah, I would happily welcome a corner so we can shoot Demo in the slot and have somebody opposite Ward. Even just if that doesn't happen, to try and just send a message to the whole secondary that it's not good enough, and your butts are on the line. Basically, if you want to play some games, you're gonna have to play better because this new guy is in town now. Maybe even just something like that, just to rattle a bit. Just send a message to the defense saying you're not playing well enough. That's why we're looking to trade player in. That's what I would do at the very least. Trade a corner and maybe an edge rusher or a D tackle, because we haven't talked about Hargrave, but for what we're paying him, for what we acquired him and the aspiration, it's just not good enough. We had, you had 70 sacks last year, and what's happening now? Contributing clearly. So I would get those two positions in, even if it isn't to replace people, to just bring some fresh blood and say, competition's open. If you don't play well, these guys will.
Yeah, I think we'll probably bring in a cornerback, to be honest.
Yeah, I hope so.
I don't know who, but I mean, there's been a couple of people mentioned, but Jalen Johnson, Kendall Fuller.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be very good. Because where is Ambry Thomas as
Sammy
well?
Womack.
Yeah.
To answer your question, Nadji, about Hargrave, he was used more as an edge rusher by the Eagles, and I think he's been used in a different role. I think we're seeing him more next to Armstead in that run, stuff and roll. And I agree with you. I think we're going to add possibly a cornerback, pass rusher. It's going to be something on that side of the ball. Lee wants Womack to come back in, but it would be good to see Lenore move back to the slot because he played well there last year, especially in the playoffs. So that would be good, whether it be Womack or whether it be someone else. I think the favourite, Lee, is Jalen Johnson, the name you mentioned there from the Bears. That's what I keep seeing flash up on social media at the moment. So
I do have one name I think we should try and go and get, which is kind of a bit of a wild card, but I think we should pick up the phone, call the Titans, and see if Al Shahir wants to come back, because we miss him sorely.
Yeah, we let him go. I think couldn't afford him, so be odd to go back to the well. I still think we need somebody else in the run game. I talked about that last time. I don't think he's the guy, but Dalvin Cook is potentially available from our old mate Robert Saleh at the Jets. He doesn't seem to be getting used there. That could be a season loan, I think, just to give us something different, a different target, maybe somebody else for defenses to think about. I don't think it will happen. I don't know that Shanahan wants to bring in a player into the scheme. I know he did it with McCaffrey this time last year, but I think McCaffrey is a special player. I'm not sure he's going to want to mix up the offense too much. And this isn't singling out anybody at all, but without Trent Williams, we have a very inexperienced O-line. There's guys who are fourth, fifth year players, but McKivitz first year starter, Banks second year starter, Burford first year as a full-time starter, Brendel second year starter, Jalen Moore a handful of games. I wonder if you miss a bit of leadership there as well without Trent Williams and a bit of a steady head.
Exactly. So I would improve the run game straight away, and we don't need to make a trade. I would switch out Brendel for Feliciano and stick him at centre. He's a much more experienced player. He's very good in run blocking, and I think he would benefit our O-line immediately. And we don't need a trade.
Yeah.
True. Brendel's been playing pretty well, though, so...
I think Burford has
struggled. You were going to say, bring Brunskill back from the Titans. Lee. When you said pick up the phone to the Titans, I thought you were going to say, bring Brunskill back, bring him home.
I mean, I would have Brunskill back too, yeah. And if you want to package that with Derrick Henry, by all means, we'll take that.
We have worried about the O-line, and I do think it's the area where we have been weakest, and one where we've, other than Trent, been reluctant to invest much resources, much money, and much experience. And while they have held up reasonably well in pass protection, I think the run game is lacking. The Bengals were able to get a lot of penetration, and we were losing that line of scrimmage. And to be honest, if we had Jimmy, I would God knows what a nightmare that game would be, because Brock was able to evade and make his second, third reads or make something happen time and time again in that game when he was under pressure. And if we had a less mobile, less aggressive, confident quarterback, I think that game could have gone very badly. I think Mitch Wisnowski would have been even busier than he was. But I keep forgetting to mention that he's putting in some good punts. So there's a positive.
He is. He's our best. He was our best player on Sunday.
To start off the positives. So are there other positives from the game? Because I'm sure there are.
Go on, Paul. Talk about 23.
CMC.
Yeah.
Yes, got another 2 touchdowns.
17 games.
If you look at his stats, he averaged over 4.5 yards per carry. Nothing to be sniffed at. 12 attempts. Should have had his number called a bit more for me, because I'm a fan of 23. But you said it better than I can, Gareth. Generational player. That trade gets better with every game. You think back to this time last year, some of the national analysts were calling it a C-, a luxury that we didn't need. And I knew he was good, but yeah. And I can see why Kyle Shanahan keeps leaning on him so much, but maybe we just need to sprinkle it to someone else, Kyle. But yeah, 23 scored another 2 touchdowns. And got to give Brock credit, because the way he scrambled and threw that back across his body, I'll be honest. I don't
like that, though.
I know you don't like it when it works. No. It works. But we all had our heart in our mouth. But then obviously when he lands with it, you're like, yeah. But
you should never go cross again. Oh God, that was nerve-wracking. Kittle carried the game. It's good to see him in the pass game like that. That pass down the middle on the fade was pretty good. It reminded me of that Cowboy playoff game. It's exactly the same play. What a touch! What a ball on that by Brock. Yeah, there's a lot of positive. I think the biggest one is that we have a team of warrior people that will fight for this team and do care and will figure it out. I think Fred said it in his press conference. We're not backing down from this. We're not going to go and hide in a corner and hope that it turns around by itself. We're going to work hard and we're going to suss it out. So I think that's a big positive, that everybody's aware of what's going on. It's not just like, oh, well, we're still, like the Cowboys when they lost. Oh, we're good. We're fine. It's just like, no, there's a problem here and we're going to fix it, which is what we want to hear, really. Wisnowski, number 18. Phew, what a guy. What a dude. What a draft pick.
Oh, yeah.
Jake Moody was perfect.
Jake Moody was perfect.
I do take this as a positive. Brock threw a couple of bad interceptions and then it didn't faze him. He just came out throwing, and it doesn't look... Yeah. You've got to be that way. You've got to react well to the interceptions. It was something that Jimmy did well. He would generally play his best drive, having thrown his inevitable interception or two. And I was pleased that Brock just came out and did that. And again, from his own end zone, when he had that next drive and puts together another good drive, he is beginning. There's a little bit there. He's putting the team on his back. We haven't managed to get the results, but he's standing up to be counted. And he's saying, right, we're in a hole and I'm going to have to throw a way out of it now, because we know that's what Shanahan's going to ask him to do. And he's stepping up to it, and he's pretty fearless. And these are those intangibles, I guess. When the game isn't going your way, do you want your quarterback to shy away from it? Or do you want your quarterback to just completely forget the last series and completely forget what happened? And he's out there slinging the ball out. And as you said, that one across the field to Kittle, he's slinging the ball into a bit of danger. He's off balance, but Kittle was wide open, and he knows he's got to make something happen there. He's not throwing away the game from a position of being in front. There's nothing to lose there. We've got to score. We've got to score on that position, and he made it happen. And taking the risks, and he knows he's going to get the flack.
Yeah.
Come on, Lee. Let's finish.
I love him. I love him as a QB. I love him. He's great, and not phased. He's got a tackle as well this season, which is it's good.
Another positive. George Kittle got plenty of practice catching the ball.
Yeah.
He did drop one, but plenty of chances to practice.
What he meant
I
to
mean,
say, Gareth, is a positive was he got to sit next to me and watch the game last night. That's what he was meaning to say. Not like he said off air where he said it was a rubbish night. Cheers, mate. Thanks.
Yeah, I got to watch the game. I didn't get to hear it because Paul wouldn't stop talking all night.
Well, don't see you very often, my mate. Not in person.
Right, I think we've probably done that enough. There is the small matter of the score prediction
there's one more.
table.
Oh yeah, that's a great positive, by the way. Nailed that. There was one more thing I completely forgot to talk about last week, and I have to talk about it this week.
Okay.
The Fred tackle against the Vikings on the goal line. How did we not talk about that for like 25 minutes? I don't know.
'Cause we lost.
Because we lost. But Polamalu-esque. What a player.
Yeah.
It just makes me feel this is the guys we have on this team, guys that can do that. So we'll be fine. We just need to figure it out. Let's move on to the greatest prediction of all time. I didn't open it.
A little dubious.
I need to find it.
We gave you your score prediction of Purdy not playing, and then he did play. So technically, we should really stick to the one where he did play. Well,
you chose to put this one down, and then I asked midweek whether I could change it. You didn't reply, so I'm keeping it now. Unfortunately.
Yeah, because Lee created a separate group chat and told us that we weren't allowed to. No, I'm joking.
But I think I'm going to have to put my foot down on this and put a stop to these double. Oh, if this happens, if that happens, it's all getting confusing. We've all got the same information when we record the pod, so we're all in the same place. Otherwise, we'll end up with a prediction if it's rainy, or a prediction if this happens, or a prediction if that happens. So.
Fair enough.
We'll let you get that one, Nadji, because it does change the leaderboard a little bit, and a change is good.
It does.
Maybe it's a sign of more.
A change is good. And I feel pretty bad that the most points by anyone this season is because we lost, and I predicted it, and I nailed the 49ers score, and I was I wasn't that close on the Bengals, but yeah, I got 10 points out of that, 5-5. Pretty happy with that. 17 in the loss, and then you all third goose egg in a row. So I think the problem is not really with me; it's more with you. It's just 3 losses in a row for you. Are you gonna fire your projection defensive coordinator or not? Or are you gonna work it out? And that's the question.
Well, I'm predicting a tie for this week.
That's a good
0-0.
0-0, yeah, against no one. We're definitely all away on that one.
Told you this would happen. People getting too competitive and playing it properly. I'm always going to play this game with my heart, and I'm going to make no apologies about it. But Lee was very graceful last night, Nadji, when he realised you were going to jump to the top of the leaderboard. At least I think that's what he was saying. I couldn't quite work it out with the expletives and the march off to somewhere else in the casino.
Yeah, so the leaderboard, for people that are not watching, I've jumped to first with 37, scoring 10 points. And then second is Liam Paul with 31. And Gareth with 24. I'm a bit of you're not scaring me, Gareth. You're the Cardinals.
I told you I've just gone through my mid-season slump. Although I think I might in the bye week change tack by thinking about the actual score prediction, and then I'm going to say something completely different from what I actually think the score will be, and see if that actually makes me score some points.
Actually happen, yeah. Fair enough.
Because it can't be worse than what I'm currently doing.
True.
There we go.
Very true.
Someone's got to finish bottom out of a division of 4. So you're right, I'm doing full right. Cardinals. So I think we've done that enough. Do we feel better for the therapy session?
Yeah, always.
Yeah, we always feel better for it.
Good.
Always.
We hope everybody else does too. Thank you for joining me, lads. Thank you to all of you who listen to the show, particularly if you've got some good therapy out of this one. I think we'll be back later this week. We will have a look and see if there's any trade activity, and then maybe have a think about where we are, maybe analyse what we've talked about so far this season, and look ahead to the rest of the season, and probably a little bit of the gold mine. So take a breath, enjoy the rest of your week, and enjoy the weekend off. Let's look forward to the business end of the season, because it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Go Niners.
Good Niners.
Bang, bang, Niner gang.
We love the San Francisco 49ers deep in the heart. Like Joe Montana in the corner, D. Clark. Garrison Hurst, stiff farm going 99. Don't get it twisted, one and all with prime time. John Taylor, Jerry Rice down the